There's nothing like a good blues guitar lick, especially those open string blues guitar licks. You know, those like Stevie Ray Vaughan-esque licks that just like, they just have so much attitude, and just being on the low strings just gives them something different that playing them on the higher strings doesn't quite cover. Well, my name is Eddie with Guitar Mastery Method. We help thousands of guitar players all around the world, just like you, take their guitar playing to the next level. And today I'm going to be teaching you some 5 simple but sexy blues licks to level up your blues playing. Now, all of these licks are going to be in the key of E. I wanted to really take advantage of playing open string blues licks that really utilize the open strings. There's just something extra about the mojo that they have compared to a lot of other licks. And I don't really see a lot of people spend too much time in this register when they're playing blues. You know, it's typically like... Now, there's absolutely nothing wrong with playing up the neck, but like I said, it just doesn't quite have the same attitude as like the... It just has something about it. And all 5 of these licks, by the way, pretty much focus on this open position string register, okay? Except for one, but it's in the neighborhood, so it just kind of gives you more to work with, so you can really get more miles out of the lower register of your guitar's fretboard. So before we get into breaking down these licks, a lot of them do require techniques like bending, sliding, hammer-on, pull-offs, that kind of thing. So if you're already familiar with those techniques, then you're in the perfect shape to learn these licks. If you're not quite there yet, no worries. There are plenty of other videos on our channel that can help you tackle those techniques. You could still learn these licks. In fact, I welcome all levels in this video, but I will say that if you are a beginner and you're not familiar with these licks, they'll be a little bit more challenging, but that doesn't mean you can't take them on and tackle them right away, you know, as long as you put in the work. All right, so lick number 1, very simple lick. A lot of these licks borrow from the blues pentatonic scale, which you guys probably know what it is, but I'm going to show you anyways. It goes like this. So as I said, a lot of these licks borrow from that scale. So the first lick is like straight up using the low part of that scale, and it goes like this. Do it one more time slow, starting with the open E string. So I'm basically going up the E blues pentatonic scale, right? Pretty much, yeah. Right? And then I just go down by just doing a hammer on from the open A string to the first fret of the A string. And then I pull off for the open A again. And then land on the 3rd fret of the E string. Give it a slight bend. And then end it with an open E. Now, there are multiple ways that you can pick this here lick, and it really doesn't matter. You can downstroke the whole thing. You can alternate pick it. Or you can do a little bit of both. I don't know, I pick it differently every time. I'd say depending on your skill level, if you're currently still working on alternate picking, you're not quite, you don't quite have that technique down yet, that's no problem. You can totally down pick this whole thing. In fact, you can down pick all of these licks actually. So I wanted to make it accessible for, a variety of different levels. So That's lick number 1. I'm going to play it up to speed just so you guys remember what it sounds like. So much attitude. Love it. Lick number 2 goes exactly like this. Real simple, but very slidey. So what I'm doing is I'm sliding from the 2nd fret on the G string, by the way, sliding from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret, then catching the 3rd fret on the B string with my 1st finger, and then playing open E string, high E string, to create this effect. And you can down pick it or you can alternate pick it. And then slide from the 4th fret down to the 2nd fret again. And it's got to have that, almost like that speeding car kind of sound. So you slide down to the 2nd fret on the G string, then you're going to pull off to an open G string, and then play the 2nd fret on the D string to semi-resolve the lick. We're not done yet though. Once you land on that 2nd fret on the D string, you're going to play an open G string on top of it while it's ringing out. Then you're going to hammer it on the 1st fret of the G string with your 1st finger. And then just for good measure, add that high E on top of it. So again, the whole lick goes like this. Now I'll play it up to speed. Got a really nice sound. Love that kind of lick. Lick number 3 gets a little bit more challenging. Now we're going to incorporate some bending into it. So this is a classic in the style of Stevie Ray Vaughan type move where we're going to bend from the 2nd fret of the G string. And we're going to bend it up a whole step, meaning a whole step on the guitar is basically 2 frets. It's a 2 fret distance. So we're going to be bending from the 2nd fret, bending up to the pitch of the 4th fret. So, but we're not going to hang on there too long because we're going to right away play an open B and open E string on top of it. Now here's the tricky part. When you're bending up on the G string there, you're going to have to mute it right away. So what I do is once I'm up there in the bend, I kind of like release my finger here, but I make sure to mute with my palm right here so that when it comes, when I let go of it or whatever, or maybe it's better not to let it go actually. When I just hold on to it, I let my palm mute that string so that it's not going, you don't want to risk making a weird bend that doesn't sound like a cool blues lick, instead sounds like a weird haunted house or something. Yeah, you don't want that. So you want to make sure So what I'm doing is my fretting hand and my picking hand are kind of working together to mute the string and make sure that it's, not ringing out when I'm playing the open B and the open E strings. So that's kind of the slow motion version of it. I'm bending up, and as I'm releasing with this finger, I got the palm of my hand here, just like coming in for the assist. You also don't want to release your finger and it goes like this. You want to go. So it's a tricky move, but just start it really slow. You know, just to really get comfortable with that motion. And that way, every time you play this lick, it's just going to be like second nature for you. So we've done that bend. We've done the open B and the open E strings, and this is where it gets even more slidey than the last lick. We're going to slide from the 3rd fret to the 4th fret on the high E string. And then we're going to play an open E string. So like this. And then we're going to play an open B string. And then we're going to slide on the open B string from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret. And then play the E string. So all together it's like this. So again, that slidey part is sliding from the 3rd fret to the 4th fret on the high E string, then open E string, and then we're going to play open B string, then slide from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret on the B string, and then the open E string. And then we're going to go into a final slidey part, very Stevie Ray Vaughan style. We're going to slide into a double stop, which is when you're playing 2 notes at once. We're sliding in from the 2nd fret on the G string to the 4th fret, and then our first finger is playing the 3rd fret on the B string there. And we play that 3 times. That's that train sound. Okay, so we get that train sound. And again, we play it 3 times. We slide into it. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to slide back down. We're going to do that kind of kick it slide. So sliding from the 4th fret to the 2nd fret on the G string. So then from here, we're going to slide from the 4th fret on the G string down to the 2nd fret. And that really quick kick it slide. Then open G string. And then we're going to land on the 2nd fret of the D. Then the open G string, and we land on the 2nd fret of the D string. That's how we'll resolve the lick. And for good measure, I like to throw in a low E in there. That right there could even be a lick by itself. Even though that is a lot to go into one lick, I mean, you could pretty much break it up into like 2 or 3 smaller licks if you wanted to. But just for fun, I wanted to kind of compound it all into one big, beautiful 3rd lick for you. All right, and the whole thing goes like this, up to speed. This lick doesn't use any open strings, but it's right there in the neighborhood of like those killer, like lower register blues guitar licks. And this one is fun because it uses the major pentatonic scale and it just gives it some extra flavor. So essentially what I'm doing is I'm playing the 2nd fret on the A string to the 4th fret, then the 2nd fret on the D string, and then with my pinky I reach over to the 5th fret of the D string, and I give it a slight bend, and I do that twice. And Almost sounds like something a saxophone would play when it sees a beautiful woman walking down the street. And then that's half the lick, and then we're gonna go. So after those two little bends, we're gonna play 2nd fret on the D string, then we're gonna catch the 4th fret on the A string, and then do a little hammer-on, a quick hammer-on between the 2nd and the 4th fret on the D string, and then end it on the 2nd fret of the D string. Much simpler lick for lick number 4. Lick number 5 goes like this. Now, I really like this lick. It has a little bit of extra attitude to it, and it basically, you're just walking down in like kind of a chromatic little run, starting on the 4th fret of the G string, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, and then we're going to do an open string to 1st fret hammer-on. Then we're going to do 2nd fret of the G string, and then open B string, and then conclude it with a final open string to 1st fret hammer-on on the G string. And then I like to hit all 3 E's, the low E, middle E, and high E to resolve it. Now I'm using my pinky when I'm playing the 4th fret here on the G string, and it's really, really important to include your pinky whenever you can when you're playing anything on the guitar. The pinky is like the hand's like last picked, teammate on in a game of dodgeball. Like, no one uses the pinky. And I mean, you could totally get away with just using your 3 dominant fingers, but it's really important to level the playing field with all 4, because you have 4, you might as well use them all, right? So I recommend, you could play the lick like this, but I recommend use your pinky, especially if it's more challenging to play this lick with your pinky. That's how you know your pinky needs a workout. So just use your pinky for that lick to really get your pinky in shape. You can bust these licks out, when you go to a jam and it's the key of E, everyone's playing in the key of E, you can totally use these licks. You can use any amount or any order of them you want. It's really up to you. So this video is just to demonstrate how to play these licks, but I really want you to make them your own and use them in the way that you would love to use them. So that said, here are all 5 licks all together. Now, of course, there is tab available for all 5 of these licks. I've left a link in the description box below that'll take you to the reference material for this entire lesson, and it'll give you the tabs for all 5 of these awesome licks. I've also included in the description box a free guitar cheat sheet that'll show you how to instantly solo in any key. So today we went over the key of E, and that's awesome, but there's so many more musical keys to cover. If you want to learn how to solo in the key of A, the key of B flat, the key of G, the key of C sharp, whatever it is, click that link because it'll show you exactly how to do all of that. And that concludes this lesson. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really hope you enjoyed this lesson as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. If you liked the lesson, be sure to hit the subscribe button and click that notification icon so you can stay up to date on all of our future lessons. We have a bunch more coming out. We release them every single week. Once again, I'm Eddie with Guitar Mastery Method, and I hope to see you in the next video.